So I wanted to make a review video going over my LED headlights and fog lights. But first I wanted to try out these LASfit LED lights for the front turn signals and the rear stop lights. These are supposed to be error-free, not require a resistor or a CAN boost in order to override your computer so you don't get hyperflash. So I wanted to give these a shot first so I could have everything installed and maybe they work out. So I took the light housing off. This is your tail light bulb. It's an incandescent, just a clear bulb, white light. I think it's a 3157 is the number. Plugged in the LASfit. It looks excellent. It's so bright in person. And it's working right now, so it's starting out good. So this is the moment of truth. Hyperflash. It's always hyperflash. I think the Fords are difficult to override the computer system to actually get it to work. Switched back to an incandescent. Hyperflash went away. I think I'm just going to be stuck with incandescent bulbs. Unless I want to use a resistor, but I don't really want to use a resistor. So onto the headlights. So I got the Phillips. These are the Ultinon Pro9000 in the H11 bulb. And then I also have the Ultinon H8 for the fog light. They are not the Pro version though. So some of the pros of using LED lights, obviously you're going to get brighter light. You're going to get better visibility. They're more efficient. They can give you brighter light with less power. And also they're durable. Obviously you saw these ones, they last 5 years. That's one of the best LED warranties that is out there. Cons to them though, they do make heat. So pretty much every LED is going to have some type of heat management thing. The better LEDs usually will have an active cooling, like a fan. And if you don't see any cooling, like no fins or nothing, they're probably not going to be very good. Other cons, cost. They're expensive. These are like $200 almost. And then the range of products and their quality out there is another con. Because if you get online and you look up, I need LED headlights, you're going to see so many LED headlights to choose from. And it's kind of difficult to weed through them all. So I went with the Philips because they have like the best warranty. They're not the brightest bulb, but they are one of the smallest bulbs, so they fit in the housings without modification. The Pro series also include an integrated CAN boost inside the bulb, so you don't have you only have this one wire that comes out, so it's really easy to tuck in our housings in a Ford Transit. And I mentioned that these aren't the brightest bulbs out there, but there's a perk to that. So the really bright bulbs, after they've been on for like 10 minutes, actually lose like up to 25% of their light output just because of the heat. Philips are one of the coolest running bulbs, and they have the most consistent, they hardly lose any of their light output just because they're staying cool. I also like the Philips brand just because they do make automotive lights already, and they're trying to mimic regular automotive with the Pro series, the Ultinon Pros, so that it is basically like a factory replacement. No scatter, nice beam pattern. One of the things I would say, try to make sure you get the blade style ones and avoid the ones that have like that corn cob appearance. The corn cob ones cause like a ton of scatter. And for my high beams, I stuck with halogen lights. I don't really personally like LED lights in the high beam area. They create like some scatter, and that can cause like a little bit of a distraction. And also they could be pretty blinding even at a distance to oncoming traffic. So I just stuck with halogen. I did upgrade to the Silver Star Ultra just to give them like a little bit whiter of a color, but that's all. I'd just add this, if you're installing your headlights and you need to adjust their height, there is a vertical adjustment screw on the headlights in the Ford Transit. I was pretty surprised to find that. Mine didn't need the adjustment, but if you use other brands, you might have to adjust up or down. So before I get to the driving, I thought this would be interesting to add. I knew this would be a problem with LED. My other car that I've had for 5 years has factory installed LED. But LED lights won't melt ice, snow, frost off your headlights because they're too cool. They don't run hot enough. So this is kind of a perk of having your high beams be halogen. I can pull over and just turn my high beams on, and this is within a minute. The entire high beam has melted in front of the lens in front of the high beam bulb is melted. And within like 2 minutes, the high beam is actually melting into the low beam side. So they run super cool. So if you're living in an icy, snowy, like if you get freezing fog like we do in Wisconsin, your lights are probably gonna freeze over and you'll have to pull over and wipe them off. And this was a good time to show like how little scatter there actually is. So when you get down in the bottom, yeah, you can see the hot spot and you see the brightness of the bulb. But then when I was at the top, you can look down in there and there's almost zero light reflecting up into the lens of the camera right now. So I found this photo. It's from the Route 66 trip, but this was with the standard Ford Transit headlights, the halogen ones. I wasn't taking this photo for the headlights, but I was taking it more for the sky look. But this shows the hot spot that the halogens made on the ground. So I went ahead and I put a little couple lines on it. So it's about 2 lanes wide. It goes a little bit into the fast lane and it goes a little bit into the shoulder. And then it goes forward about 4 of the white hash marks. So there is like a national standard to those. They should be 10 feet long, each white one, with 30 feet in between. That's how they should be. So if you just rough it out, it goes 4 white hash marks up. So 4 times 40 feet, roughly 160 feet is how large the hot spot is. Obviously, light goes a little bit further than that, but it's just the hot spot on the ground. So then I tried to recreate sort of like the sun setting, so the sky is still slightly light with the LEDs. So here's a photo of the LED lights. Still kind of, just the sun is just set, kind of like the previous photo, just to kind of get the hot spot pattern. So you can see, looking at this, and I'll mark it on the lines too, it is a wider spread. So it's almost the entire fast lane and the entire shoulder. It actually like leaves the shoulder. So easily more than half a lane wider or a complete lane wider. And then distance-wise is significant. I kind of had to zoom in on it. I counted 6 lines, maybe 7. It was hard to tell. So if you do 6 white lines, it's roughly 240 feet. So 80 feet further. And it might actually go to 7, but it does look kind of nice. You can see I put the yellow line kind of high. And right underneath it, you can see the straight cut off where it just kind of ends somewhere between 6 and 7 white lines out. So much improved over just halogen. So I just wanted to show this like driving movement one. I am using the auto lamp function, and that includes auto high beams. So I have the fog lights on right now, but once the parameters are met, like that vehicle in front of me is out of the picture and I'm going fast enough, you see the fog lights shut off because the high beams came on. So that's just what auto high beams does. And then once I slow down to like below 27 miles per hour or something like that, it goes back to low beam. I kind of like this shot coming up right here because you can see the clear cutoff on the trees in the distance, and then that clear cutoff like swings around, hits the roadway, and then once I get up to above 27, the high beams come on, and I am like 300 feet from the bridge already, and I light up the entire bridge. So something to note with the auto high beam, you can use LEDs in your high beam because it's not dimming. It incorrectly says it dims the high beams. It just turns them off. They're just on or they're off, either or. So LEDs are okay in your high beam headlights if you want to use them. And then just to show the fog lights, one of the best things about the fog lights not only is how well they like consistently light up the ground in front of you, but how far out to the edges they go. So they really do a nice job highlighting like the ditch area on the side of your vehicle, or like if you're trying to like slow down and find a turn into something, they do an excellent job of that. So if I was going to pick one or the other, I'd pick do your fog lights with LED first and then do your regular lights. And I just want to mention that slight flickering you see, especially with the fog lights on, it's not actually visible to us as we're driving. It's just a trick of the camera when it tries to film LED lights, because LED lights operate on a certain frequency, so sometimes they'll create like a flicker effect in cameras. So this is just a photo just to show my car has factory installed LED lights. It's 5 years old now. And this is the quality of light and how far it travels and how far side to side it throws it. Like, it's just impressive. I wish all cars could have LED lights like this. this is the van with the high beams on. You know, we're trying our best. It's not that bad. It looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with this. It's not as good as the cars, but it's pretty decent. So it's what we got. Like and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching.